Hey, it's Larry. Thanks for listening. Happy New Year. Real quick, before we get into this episode, I had such an amazing, eye-opening, life-changing experience at the World Parkinson Congress in Kyoto that I want others to have that opportunity too. So Becca Miller and I and 24 of our PD community friends have launched a year-long WPC travel grant fundraiser. We're each doing a 2-week Facebook fundraiser. Mine's underway right now because my birthday's January 9th. All the money raised will be used to help offset travel costs so more people with young onset Parkinson's can attend the next WPC in Barcelona in 2022. You can search out details on the When Life Gives You Parkinson's Facebook page or donate directly to the WPC website. Go to WPC2022.org/YOPD fund. If you or your business would like to supply matching funds, hey, good on ya. Email me at parkinsonspod@curiouscast.ca. And now, on with the show. Hi, I'm Larry Gifford. I have Parkinson's disease, and I'm in Kyoto, Japan for the World Parkinson Congress. This is the official podcast for the 5th World Parkinson Congress, a collaboration with the World Parkinson Coalition and my other podcast, When Life Gives You Parkinson's. June 5th was day 2 of 4 for the WPC 2019 in Kyoto, Japan. As you walk around the convention center, there are posters everywhere, lots of posters that detail research that has been done in different areas of Parkinson's. And if you walk over to P37.12, Parkinson's smell levels, symptom management, and empowerment, when Joy met Allison. Now we are going to meet Joy and Allison together.
Hello, I'm Joy Milne. I'm known now as the woman who can smell Parkinson's, and I'm from Perth in Scotland.
Thank you.
And it's Allison Williams.
Allison!
Hi, Allison.
Hi.
How are you?
I am very well, thank you.
I saw on the poster you're doing well.
Yes, I've just been playing table tennis.
Oh, wow. How's that going?
It was fine until I was playing against one of the young Japanese guys who had this backslash sort of backhand thing, and he was very respectful for a while. You know, he treated me like a grandmother. Mm-hmm. And then I started getting a little bit edgy, and he got a bit more edgy, and then wham!
You got too cheeky for him.
I did, yes, but I got in a couple of really good ones that just nicked off the end of the table and left him standing. It was fantastic.
Could you have done that before she smelled you out?
That's one way of putting it. No. I couldn't have done it anywhere like that the first time that Joy smelled me. But by the second time, and my smell levels had gone down to 1, I could have wiped the floor with him. Well, tried to. Done a good, fair job at it.
I believe you.
Thousands wouldn't, yeah.
She's worked harder. She's been on the bike and the rowing machine. I've used my nose.
Talk me through the levels.
The levels, well, this one, believe it or not, is quite difficult, level 1. I have to hunt. My nose makes me hunt. It's just one of these things. I can follow molecules to wherever they're going. And it's not smells I smell. I begin to smell the decreasing molecules. I have synesthesia, so that's, it's one of my things. So I have to really look here for the molecules. It is mainly the person. Here it is the sebum musk smell. It is not quite half and half, but not far off it. So it's a lot easier to detect level 2. Level 3, again, is difficult because there's very little person left, and I can get the PD, but I have to find the person as well. It's an interaction of the molecules to make it that level 3, because level 4 is too strong. There isn't a person, it's only Parkinson's. And this one, I've only smelt it twice, and I can smell it from here.
This whole thing about smell, and it's knowing what my smell is, and I've got this wonderful new word called interoception, which is like perception, but it's as perception of what's going on inside me. So with knowing what my smell level is, I now know what that feels like physically and emotionally and mentally. So if I find myself slipping from a 1 up to a 2, usually because of stress or a virus or something like that, I know what I can do to actually bring my smell level back down again. And that is phenomenal.
It's empowering.
Oh, hugely. Yes, hugely empowering.
And so she was able to get these outcomes by doing what?
What she has done is she started off with Tai Chi slowly. You know, it wasn't I'm going off to do everything, which is not good for anybody. And then she thought about the Pilates and dance. She does Latin movers. She then got herself a gym trainer who understands her ups and down days, which was really good for her. And the amazing thing is, her partner and her, David and her, decided to do the big Japanese drums. When she started, she could not keep in rhythm. Now she's in perfect rhythm. And I think that's nice. The outcome of the story is that she is now in perfect rhythm, right and left.
That's amazing. And then do you think the drumming helped you with the ping pong?
Now there's a thought. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but it all works in together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, the drumming is fantastic. The latest one that we learned was sit don, duck on, don, sit don, duck on, don, sit don, duck on, 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 and so on. And it's just magical. You have to imagine the huge sticks that I'm raising above my head and beating these huge drums with. So.
Oh, that's a good image. I like that. So let me ask you both. Mm-hmm. You've got this research. You know it's true. It's true for you. It's self-evident for you. How hard is it to get people to pay attention to it?
I mentioned it this afternoon when I was asking a question in the wearables technology session, and the panelists, well, they were polite. One less so. I think that, but afterwards I got 3 or 4 people coming up and talking to me about it from the audience, most of them PWPs. It's out there and the interest is intense, and I think it's going to go, because it's backed up by Purdy and Joy's work together. It's backed up by real, solid physical evidence. So it's backed up by the molecules and the spectrometry.
That's great.
Purdy has said that Manchester University would be interested if I want to continue with the work. So we've done it one-to-one, but hopefully we can do it with more people to actually prove that it makes a difference.
If this was like the 1700s, they'd be strapping her to a wood pole and burning her.
Yeah, they would. I mean, yeah. I said this till most of my family have been burned to the stake, I think, probably. And there's just a few of us left. But yeah, it's fun. But I've enjoyed doing this with a huge result at the end.
Now we're going to walk over to the corner of the room where we have a round table and 3 guests, including Joy, who you've just met, and 2 others.
Hello everybody, and my name's Matt Eagles. I work in healthcare communications. I've had Parkinson's for 43 years, and I'm the founder of the educational tool called Parky Life.
He was diagnosed when he was 7 years old. That is unbelievable.
Yes.
Hello there, I'm Johnny Atchison.
Did you forget where you're from?
Yeah, I did. Sorry, Larry. I'm from Leicester in the UK, and recently I was described as the man who draws Parkinson's.
Oh, nice, yeah. So this was day 2 of the World Parkinson Congress, or yesterday was day 0, and today's day 1, or whatever it is. It's my second day here, so we're calling it day 2. I want to find out from each of you maybe 1 or 2 things that you learned today that you're excited about, or something that just made you think differently about Parkinson's.
For me, I went to the talk that Les Milne did, looking at the clinical differences and it was the role play. I thought the role play, the Mr. and Mrs. Lees were They were absolutely fantastic about the situation of the morning. We were just speaking about it, all the role play in the morning and how late and and then he was saying he was going to give up his job, and she was saying no, we have to maintain our lifestyle, etc. And it was the role of the tension in the marriage after the diagnosis of Parkinson's, and how it was beautifully dealt with in the end by Baz doing the interview of a consultant giving them advice.
That's really fascinating. It's something that probably comes up in all of our households. I've been married for 20 years this August, and our marriage has changed since the Parkinson's diagnosis. Just the other day, we used to be fabulous communicators. I communicate for a living, but for some reason we find ourselves not understanding each other from time to time, and it's very frustrating. And having those discussions about, what are we going to do when you can't work anymore, and maybe you should take it easy, and maybe you're doing too much, and and having those discussions.
I have a very similar situation. The interesting thing with me though, Larry, is because my wife knew I had Parkinson's when she married me.
Because you weren't married at 6.
No, do you know what? That's quite true, actually. No, but it's funny because that is brilliantly observed, Larry, and I like that.
I still have it.
You do indeed. Now, what it was, we still have, as my Parkinson's develops, as it naturally will, the dynamic in our relationship changes. But one thing I do find is I have a 17-year-old stepson, and he never, ever, ever has mentioned the fact that I've got Parkinson's.
Do you think he knows?
He does know, but he just treats me like I'm an ordinary guy, which I absolutely love.
You're an extraordinary guy. Let me just say it.
I know this is a podcast, but I'm blushing.
I mean, I think kids just get on with life and what's in front of them, and they deal with it in their own way. And I think as a family, I've been very, very appreciative of the conversations that we've had, of the through the hard times and through the difficult times. Just having somebody by your side that you can talk to, that you can open up to, that you can drill down and get into the nitty gritty is just so important.
Can I just say, Larry, one thing I think is critical, and I've really observed here in the Parkinson's families, getting on with people from different generations with the same disease has been an inspiration for me. Yes. I don't know anybody, when you see somebody who's elderly or more older than you or younger than you, but you realise you're actually dealing with the same things every day, it's really brings quite powerful emotions to the fore.
I in Scotland have now met a lot of, like Janet Kerr and Martin Taylor, a lot of young people with Parkinson's, and they're doing such phenomenal things, collecting funds for research, etc. And I think they're inspirational. I really do think that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. I think what's for me the wonderful thing about this conference is just, how everybody can learn from each other, educate each other. I'm only sort of 3 years in, but learning from other people with Parkinson's, learning from care partners who've had who've been living with somebody with Parkinson's for many years. It's the conversations that I've had. It's just been absolutely fantastic.
Joy, I'd be curious, when you first whiffed Parkinson's in your house, did you see your relationship evolve and change? And do you have any advice for other women who maybe have partners, like our wives? Talk to our wives. What would you say to them?
Well, I would say that if you can watch the Mr. and Mrs. Lees with Baz Bloom, yes, you will have periods where you feel frustrated. But I think you have to look at these and be really honest with each other. I think you have to be really honest with each other. And I think it's great having kids. I really do. My sons were teenagers. They were a rock for us. They really were. And don't worry about them growing up, because you're right. they do grow up with it and they accept it, and they can be somehow inspirational on sort of a... I remember leaning against one of my sons one day after I'd had quite a frustrating day, just leaning there, and he didn't move, and I said, oh, that's really nice, and he knew and he put his arms around me, and he knew I needed a cuddle, and that is how it goes.
That is such sweet, strong word, but the power of the relationship dynamic between parent and child is so strong, I think. And it's stories and moments like that make you think, yeah, I like my life now. When you can get comfort from people in your own family, it is the best feeling ever. Yeah.
Matt, what are you taking away from day 2?
Day 2 has been the most incredible day for me, because I've learned how caring people in general are, not just about people with Parkinson's. When I first saw you this morning, Larry, I think you'd agree, I was sweaty. I was really sweaty. I think the term is hyperhidrotic. My body's ability to heat itself or control its own body temperature had gone haywire. And the number of people that came past, said hello, and asked how you are, it just came to me how compassionate people not only people in the Parkinson's community, but everybody, even helpers, everyone at this conference has been amazing. And it's my first ever conference, and I thought there might be a few people who might not get on, but everybody seems to be getting on. And that to me is a joy and a success in itself.
So I went to the session on levodopa dopamine agonists, how to find a balance between the good and the not so good, which was it was just brilliant. The last session was by Annette Hand from the UK on impulse control, and personally I think that it's probably the best talk I've been to so far. Just the way she laid it out. It's a topic that I don't think's overly discussed openly within the community, and there was a lot of good points around how doctors should counsel patients before being started on agonists. There was a lot of good advice on how you should monitor that, and how it can be quite subtle, and just having somebody there beside you monitoring it was very, very, very useful.
Well, it's one of those things that people joke about, because I know I get asked every time I go to the neurologist here, you shopping in the middle of the night, or you don't. I'm like, should I be? I could use some new stuff. Yeah. but it's a serious issue, and it's a reaction to the medication, and we need to be conscious of it, and we need to support each other and monitor each other for sure. What questions do we have left? As we've got a day and a half or 2 days left here. What are you hoping to learn? What questions do you have, or what are you seeing as some of the trends that are coming out of this?
I would like to see advocacy, patient advocacy. I would like to see a more caring, rounded. I mean, I did a talk on symptoms before the motor symptoms, and someone there was from Parkinson's UK, and she was horrified about what I said about changes in sexuality, etc. And I said, look, she came the next day, she said, well, these people don't want to hear about it. Do you know the response I had in the group after I had spoken about it was phenomenal. People were coming and asking me, both carers and people with Parkinson's, saying, it's the first time somebody's spoken about it.
Well, just today we were talking about earwax, and I'd never heard anybody talk about that. But my wife's constantly picking the ear. What do you have in your ear? It's constantly flaking out.
That's what we know about the increase of sebum, and where's the next lot of sebum from here and here? It's in there. And Les had lots of earwax on his pillow. Yeah.
I'm absolutely intrigued by this conversation because I had no idea. But what you did say, Joy, about the actual dealing with things that people find awkward to deal with, it's so true. And one thing that I'd like to hear about, I'd like to hear from people with Parkinson's and their carers, is do certain symptoms prevent you going out and enjoying yourself? Because I know I have problems with an urge to go to the bathroom, for example, but I need to sit down because if I try and stand up, I wheel over my own trousers. So I need to go somewhere where I can use a sit-down bathroom. Which brings me into quite a funny story, actually, which I think I told you earlier, about the Japanese toilet giving me dyskinesia when I pressed the wrong button. And I got to jets of warm water that I wasn't quite expecting. And it caused me such bad dyskinesia that I fell off the toilet.
I quite enjoyed the Japanese toilets.
I do now. I know what it is, but I wasn't expecting it at all.
Johnny, how would you like to, for the listeners at home, describe the Japanese toilet?
Well, I have to say, whenever I sat down for the first time when I arrived in Japan, there were an awful lot of buttons to press. So I, just out of interest, I just went along the line and pressed them all. And at one particular press, I had to take a deep inhalation of breath. And then I pressed it again and wouldn't stop. So then I panicked, and then my tremor got a bit worse, and then I stood up and automatically flushed the chain. So I learned very quickly, but it was an interesting experience.
I can't wait to see the cartoon he draws about that.
We're number one, Peel, number two.
All right, thank you so much for taking time to talk about the conference with me today. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Thanks very much, Larry.
The LRRK2 gene and genetics in general is a big topic here at the World Parkinson Congress. And I've bumped into my buddy, Dr. Matt Ferrer, and a friend of his.
Yoshio Tsuboya from Fukuoka University, Japan.
So we're familiar with Matt on the podcast. He's the genetic genius that mapped my genome. Didn't find anything. He said I was unremarkable, which is, I like to think of myself a little bit more special.
More remarkable every day.
Thank you. So Matt, how do you guys know each other?
So we met when I worked at Mayo Clinic many years ago.
2000 to 2003, I was in Mayo Clinic.
Okay. And we worked on some projects mapping disease genes in a very rare form of Parkinson's disease called Perry syndrome.
And what is Perry syndrome?
Yes, Perry syndrome. I met the first patient in Perry syndrome in Fukuoka, and he was very young onset and have very unique features, including the weight loss and severe hypoventilation, and then stop the respiration at night. It's a very peculiar disease.
Now, when you've discovered like these side diseases, these other avenues of Parkinsonisms, does it help us better understand this crazy thing this condition that we're all dealing with?
Yes. It's a very unpredictable and weight loss, and I think that's the family history of sudden death or early onset of Parkinson's disease or suicide.
So the weight loss and the depression and suicide in these particular families is a very extreme, if you like, manifestation of what you might find in idiopathic Parkinson's disease.
So as we're trying to figure out idiopathic Parkinson's disease, this gives us sort of an extreme version that we can then play off of and sort of help reduce those symptoms in people with
we can learn from these families about their molecular problem, and we can extrapolate from that to the garden variety disease and see if this is a similar molecular problem in garden variety Parkinson's disease and idiopathic disease.
So what's the next big breakthrough you're hoping for genetics as it relates to Parkinson's?
it's a kind of the new treatment depend on some genetic insights, I think.
I think so
So
too.
still, we have some. So, for example, this time, not present LAG2 issue, and it's an important gene to make Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, it's a great target, and it's a great focus for therapeutic development.
And what percentage would that affect? Like less than 10?
It's challenging to put a number on it. So many.
I just did.
I
It
know
was not
you
that
did.
hard.
Yeah. Okay. I think say 10% of Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's significant. I mean, it's not
It's-
like 0.01%.
No, it's a big chunk. It's a big chunk.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
scientifically significant.
Yeah. So there are many risk factors
Yeah.
in LAG2, and in many populations in the world. They're all rather different.
Well,
But
no
they
pressure,
could be
guys, but
potentially
we need
treated
help
with the same
now.
drug. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so
I know. We,
hurry it up.
You know, we don't have Parkinson's disease, but we're the same. We feel that we're running out of time
yeah.
all the time, right? And we have to hurry up. We have to speed up, and that's why these types of meetings are really important, bringing people together to try and share ideas.
Well, thank you, Kanpai.
Kampai, yes, indeed.
Thank you. From Kyoto, Japan, for Curious Cast and the World Parkinson Coalition, this is WPC 2019. Visit WPC2019.org to learn about the 5th World Parkinson Congress, a global Parkinson's event that opens its doors to all members of the Parkinson's community, including those living with the disease. Follow updates on this year's WPC on Twitter at World PD Congress, or follow the hashtag WPC2019. If you'd like to help spread the word about the podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe for free. Search for WPC 2019 and When Life Gives You Parkinson's. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere you get streaming audio. You can also listen at curiouscast.ca and WPC2019.org. You can also connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look up @ParkinsonsPod or email parkinsonspod@curiouscast.ca. WPC is written and produced by me, Larry Gifford. Dila Velazquez is our story producer. Sound designed by Rob Johnston. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Canada may be known for its landscapes and friendly people, but beneath the surface lies a darker side of crime, history, and the paranormal. Since 2017, the award-winning Dark Poutine podcast has explored the shadowy corners of the Great White North and beyond, delivering chilling tales from a uniquely Canadian perspective. Hosted by Mike Brown and Matthew Stockton with over 300 episodes and fresh releases every Monday, Dark Poutine is your weekly ticket to the creepier side of Canada. Listen to Dark Poutine on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.